Good afternoon. I'm going to take a sort of contrary position over here. I am not going to talk too much of science, hardcore science. I mean, and the reason for that is very simple. I don't know too much hardcore science on the AI domain and all of this. But having been from a family of doctors and having traversing the area of engineering, I have got glimpses of the story here and there, which sometimes make me very excited, sometimes make me very depressed, sometimes makes me fear for the future, and sometimes make me very optimistic. So I'm trying to share those feelings with you, as opposed to sharing the exact science that I do. So. Yeah, but before this, please take me whatever I say with a pinch of salt, not a pinch of salt, but actually a handful of salt, because remember, things have been said in the past. So everything that can be invented has been invented. Okay, remote shopping, while entirely feasible, will flop. Okay, and there's no reason why anyone will like to have a computer at home. And this was Ken Olsen, and it was for IBM. Okay, and no one will need more than 637 KB of memory on this machine. I mean, this is Bill Gates speaking in 1981. Now, 640 KB is a distant past. Internet will collapse in 1996. Robert Metcalf, who was one of the co-inventors of the internet, and subscription models for music are bankrupt. Steve Jobs, they make a lot of money through Apple Music and whatever nots. And spam emails will be eliminated by 2006. I wish it was. No, but I mean, people have been saying a lot of these very things, which are all wrong, and all of these people are much more knowledgeable than I am. So what I say is probably going to be even more wrong than what they say. WhatsApp University. I think Dr. Kunal Sarkar showed part of the movie. I do not really know. Movie is in a different file. I do not really know. That might have been generated by AI for all I know. Or the 300 patients going in and big kiosks and going in and coming out, 300 million diseases being spotted. You could generate that movie by AI. Huh? AI doctor in China. Okay. Now that sort of scares me. Hmm? এটা তো চলবে না, এটাকে আলাদা করে ভিএলসি কিংবা কিছুতে চালাতে হবে। So anyway, I mean, even if there is some subtitle over here, people go put their hand in, people go put their arm in, and needles come out, and pressure is taken, and they look at their pictures and all of those things. They claim that they had taken some millions of patients and made the AI out of it. Now, if you consider the number of years and those millions of patients taken and the symptoms and the diseases, then China is only full of diseases and nothing else. How did they get all those patients is a big question. And so, do take, I mean, there are nice things that we can do with AI and show. Uh, but I'm a little skeptical of this, although I cannot put it out of the realm of reality to a limited extent, but not to this extent right now. Now we are all into AI and all that. We are not able to do the PowerPoints straight. Huh? I mean, it's a and this is not nothing to say about this auditorium or the organizers over here. You go to some organization, some auditorium, The computers never work with the with the projector. The plugs don't work, and nothing really. And we still have not able to figure out universal. Where it will, you just go there and hook up, and it will always work. Okay, so I personally tend to think that AI is just a formalized form and a distributed and a big form of NI, which is natural intelligence. And if we look at the most ancient forms of medical practice, which we could find in the Atharva Veda, we have our man Sushruta, the surgeon, and Charaka. And some people say that Sushruta and Charaka were not a person themselves, but a series of doctors and so a series of surgeons and medical practitioners who made not notes, but passed it on to their disciples. And it was significantly observational, particularly in the case of Charaka. It was significantly observational that a variety of plants and the roots and herbs and stones and minerals made a difference to health under pathological conditions. That observational and that linkages of these various things is fundamentally natural intelligence, and nothing else. We are now trying to codify it. Now, well, you know what? We start off like this, right? And then mom puts a light over there, and mom says, "This is light." And we know it's light. And mom puts a flower. We are growing up. Mom puts a flower and says, "This is red." We know it's red. And mom puts another flower. "This is pink." We know it's pink. So we are gathering knowledge, and we can regurgitate that knowledge. And that is what AI is, in a sense. Today we can regurgitate the real intelligence, and we put all of these things together. Today, we have our color, our color grid, color boxes. There are, how many of you can name all the colors over here? No one. Okay, I don't know the name. I'm without being misogynistic or chauvinistic or anything like that. I know that males can recognize white, green, blue, yellow, and three other colors. Lavender, peach, and all sorts of other mixes are beyond our tiny brain capabilities. Okay, uh, but a computer can. A computer can, because all of these have different numbers associated with it. Okay, and this is even worse. Now you can give it a name. An artist can give this color over here some name. The computer will know it has an RGB value. But is it intelligence or a pure lumber game, or what? What is it? I mean, I really don't know, frankly. So, what is our intelligence built on? Our intelligence built on sensory inputs to perceive the world around us. We cut through the noise. Remember, you are in a big party, and you are talking to your friend, and everyone is talking to their friends, and there are a lot of noise. But all that noise should come in, right, into your ear, but you cut it out. You just hearing your friend. We have the innate ability to cut through noise and make sense of the real input that we need. Is the AI systems capable of that today? I mean, if you think of Arjuna of the Mahabharata. Drona asked Yudhishthira, "What do you see?" "I see the sky, I see the tree, I see this, that." Go away. Bhima, "What do you see?" "I see the tree." Go away. Arjuna, "What do you see?" "I see the bird." What in the bird? "I see that's the bird's eye." Okay, so I mean that's what I mean. Our intelligence is capable of cutting through all sorts of noise, and the primitive machine learning algorithms had a lot of difficulty in cutting through the noise. Nowadays, with deep learning and all of this, lots of data and lots of training, it has reached a fraction of the sensitivity and discriminatory values in general. Uh, so the question that I always have, and I had, and I think I'll have to my dying day, is artificial intelligence really artificial or really intelligence, or it is somewhere in between? And if it is really intelligent, then we are in deep trouble. In the next 20 years, Homo sapiens will be replaced by, I don't know, Homo androids or God knows what. It's not going to take very much longer. I don't want to see that day. Uh, I mean, it is one of the classic definitions that the system's ability to correctly interpret external data, to learn from such data, to use those learnings to achieve specific goals and targets for flexible adaptation. Turing's definition of a artificially intelligent machine, where you cannot distinguish between a machine and a human being, sitting screen across a screen of each other, is today's LLM probably. So it was a half definition in some sense, because Turing was a genius in his time, but even genius has the limitation. And now we know that, well, it has to achieve goals and tasks through flexible adaptation, and that is what scares me. We can compare natural intelligence and artificial intelligence. It is highly selective. AI is non-selective, and all sorts of things. Uh, the artificial intelligence also requires clearly defined parameters as of now, and requires high quality ground truth data sets. Those 300 million Chinese patients, I don't know where they got it from. You want ground truth? You try to get ground truth in India. We are talking healthcare today. You are trying to see ground truth. What ground truth? The data is not organized properly. Worldwide, the data is not organized properly. You want to associate 500 different clinical symptoms, and you want to put all of those things together and come up with a possible 300 million diseases or whatever which can happen. You have to have those 500 or 5,000 types of data sets for every patient. When you go to a doctor, does the doctor tell you do all these 500 tests? No. You go to the doctor, they tell you to do 500 tests, you'll say, छोड़ है, कटवा नहीं लेता है, मैं जाता हूँ. Okay. They will tell you to do a specific number of tests which they treat, which they used to treat, the outcomes of those tests, they used to treat a person by the systemically of something which is gone wrong. You have a headache, they'll tell you to do a angio or a MRI or something like that. They will not want to test the melanin content or your keratin content or something like that. But all of those things might be related in some way. You need the whole data set. And so the ground truth data is not absent. So that is one possibly good thing for the doctors today. The ground truth data is not absent, so the AI can only be much less effective. And if we look at the details, the comparisons, the attributes, from the point of view of creativity, of emotional intelligence, speed and scale, of course, AI, you put all these machines together, they'll perform much faster. No question about that. But the transparency, very many models are black boxes. About when this AI thingy was coming up, or rather when deep learning was coming up, I used to do before that a little bit of what is called artificial neural networks. So I was asking one of my very well-known computer scientist friends, you know what, this ये deep learning क्या होता है? I want to understand what is this deep learning. And this person said, listen, you do ANN, right? I said, yeah. You don't know the number of nodes. That is deep learning. वो सोच के चलो. I mean, so now you don't know the number of nodes. That is deep learning. वो सोच के चलो. That I have taken. I mean, so essentially, it's a big black box. People are trying to define the parameters in the box, trying to put some control onto it, but still, it is a big black box. Just like our brain is also. Okay, so in that way, our brain and these are indeed similar. If you just take a loose look at medical diagnostics today, it is a centralized activity to take advantage of economies of scale. Large machines in pathology and imaging, primary care centers, they don't have this equipment. Tertiary care centers are very crowded. Early diagnostics cannot be done because of because of cost considerations and all that. And I love this the Star Trek serial. It gives such good visions. And all these are from Star Trek. And there was a competition. This is called a tricorder. Okay. And the tricorder was this thingy by which you can measure almost anything. It was, and this was done by Gene Roddenberry. They came up with this in what 1960s or early 1970s sometime. And you put a little gadget on top of it, it becomes a medical tricorder. Okay, fantastic. So that is you carry it in your pocket onto the field, and when you come off the field, and you're going to go into a regular starship or in the Earth Central Command, then you can put them in a machine like this where it analyzes much more deeply. This is the ideal, of course. We should have something like this, but there were still doctors who would look at those and try to figure out what exactly is wrong. It is not that the machine tells them what to do. Hmm. So I already I think I heard a bell. So traditional sensor processing, AI-driven sensing, the outcomes. I mean, the idea is that we need to do feature extraction in some way or the other. AI-driven sensing does that. It can do possibly end-to-end sensing, although we are not completely doing it. The outcome is reduced calibration effort. It's okay, but the whole thing fundamental. There's a first year student who taught me. There's a first year student, Bengali student, who came to me in IIT Bombay to met me because his Moses Bua's something was my wife something or some distant relation. And he had taken electrical engineering. I said, study hard, you will go into computer science. He says, no, I took computer science by choice. Why? He says, you see, at the end of, I say, we learn AI, ML, AI. He said, listen, everything depends on the input. Junk in will give you junk out. I am going to control the junk in. So he wanted to study electrical electronics engineering so that he can control the data input that is being given to the system. If the data input is useless, then the data output is going to be dangerous. See, he wanted to make sure of that. But overall, the methodology, we are trying to mimic the brain in AI. Okay, there is some sensor input. There's some logic processing happening. The logic processing, whether it is specifically taught to us by our teachers in the school or we have come up with it by combining a whole bunch of things together, that is where the AI and the natural intelligence differences lie. The market trends But in 2024, it was diagnosed to be 1.5 billion. It is going to go at a CAGR of 22.46%. And that, if you guys are investing, don't, because people already know this and have invested. So your CAGR is not going to be as high. Uh, but this is an interesting statement. Every person will experience a diagnostic error in their lifetime, and that is not just human diagnostics. That is, I think that is AI diagnostics just as well. But the huge number of patients can be handled to some extent. To some extent, okay. But how do we do that? We do sensor fusion, we recreate the scenarios of old days, study patients with a wide variation of parameters. You know, you go and sit with a homeopath or Ayurveda, then ask you 201 different questions. Okay, and you will feel bored. क्यों पूछ रहा है? मेरा दादी का ज्यादा स्वेट होता था क्या? I mean, whatever. I mean, they're trying to establish a sort of internal database as to how and whereas in the present Western system of medicine, it is system based approach. You have a headache, we'll ask you about the head. We won't ask you about your finger. Now, whether the finger is related to that or not, the Western medicine does not know. It might be, for that matter, and that was what the old Ayurveds and other people depended on. And the patients can be very and they can variety of patients. The history statements, the influenced by the loquacity of the patient. The patient, you have to ask the right questions, both AI and NI. You have to ask the right question. But some patients, you ask them, "Did you have a headache yesterday?" That patient, one patient will say, "Yes." The other one said, "Yes, the headache started early in the morning yesterday at about 6:30 a.m. I took a paracetamol at 7:30 a.m. and the headache lasted till 9:30 a.m. and all that. He'll give you one paragraph on his headache yesterday morning." So all of that needs to be that's quite a bit of no is considered to be noise, which has to be this thing. So what do we do? We think about the future where is AI, ML, DL, augmented multiplex sensor systems. That is the way. That is the hope. If you remove the doctors, it's a bad status story. But while I'm in the West Bengal Power Development Corporation Limited, I cannot but tell you something a little bit about power, the power requirements, and that is scary. Uh, Data centers account about 22%. By 2030, it will be 21% of the global energy requirement. That is scary. A million tokens is a car driven 10 miles. So when you do a Ghibli image, that is like a car driving a car. Uh, Fully charging a smartphone, rather that's fully charging a smartphone, 3,500 milliampere hours. Is edge computing a solution? Possibly it is. How do we cool the data centers? The data center water requirement has crossed the annual bottled water requirements in the world. How do we cool the data centers? How do we do the power? How do we distribute the power over there? If you look at the total amount of power that has to be generated, our most likely we are not going to be limited by the intelligence and the coding and the algorithms part of it, but we are going to be limited by the power that we have to store the data, because we cannot generate power stations that quickly. So most rarely it has to be some sort of a agentic or some sort of edge systems, and but each of them obviously at the short term it is going to be very costly. There are many real world use cases which many companies have come up. Hippocratic AI, and all that. Hippocratic AI is actually run by one of my nephews. But it does not really do medicine, thank God. So, final thoughts are that uh, let AI take over the tiring and repetitive tasks. But combine that high sensitivity with the judgment and experience of expert physicians. It provides data-driven insights, but clinicians have to ensure ethical consideration, address the black box nature of some of the AIs and all that. So, a sort of a complexation of the two. Can we say today that AI is bad? No, we cannot say. Can we say AI will not come? You have to be a fool to say that. AI is here. AI is here to stay. Will it be harmful? There are people who will say they are harmful, just like they said during the industrial revolution, during the computer development, and all of that. So it is a mixed bag of feelings right now. I don't know what the answer to it is right now, but I thought that I'll leave you with the same question that I have in my mind all the time. And thank you.